Hi, welcome to ROBOTIS Talks. This is a platform where the members of ROBOTIS go in and highlight anything new and interesting happening in the field of robotics. My name is Gavin Fleetstra. I'm a technical specialist and STEM consultant here at ROBOTIS. Today, I'm joined by Andrew.
Hello, everybody.
And we are also joined by a guest today, Jose Gutierrez. He's a user of Dynamixels who runs an electronics company out of Mexico named Savage Electronics. Jose came to our attention recently. He created a board for the Raspberry Pi Zero that allows you to interface our Dynamixels with Raspberry Pis. So hi, welcome to the show, Jose.
Hi everyone.
Additionally, we're joined by a good friend of mine, Giovanni. Sorry, I was about to say Jose again, who's going to be assisting if any translation is needed. So say hi, Giovanni. All right, I'm pretty much going to jump directly into the questions. I had a lot of difficulty digging up any information or details on your company or what you've been through. So I'd like to start off with some very basic questions. So Jose, how did you get started with electronics?
Yes, this is hard to search for me because I really just started to make this company. I'm an electronics engineer, so I do electronics for a living, right? Mm-hmm. So how did I start with the electronics? Well, in high school, I looked circuits. I like it at first glance. So I always wanted to build a human robot because I want a robot to play football, to dance. So that's how I entered this electronics and also robotics.
Nice. Did you actually like what is it, the Robo games? Did you ever go to Robo games?
I have never gone to those competitions, but I have looked on YouTube a lot of times.
Yeah, I think
love how they perform.
It's pretty incredible. I did a lot of like Vex robotics in the United States, but I just was introduced to like Robo games through Robotis when I began working here, and like watching robots play soccer is wild to see. And also the choreographed dances that Robotis makes are kind of crazy too. Well, okay, that's really, really cool to hear. So you got interested in electronics and robotics in high school? Did you go to college in Mexico for electronics and robotics?
Yes. As I said, I'm an electronics engineer, so I do electronics all the time.
Got it.
Great. Was your major then, was it electrical engineering?
Yes.
Okay. It's very, very similar to how I joined. I actually haven't finished my degree yet, but I wanted to major in electrical engineering, and I'm working with the team here now, so.
Got it.
Sure. I do electronics. I do a little bit of software also. So, but my specialty is electronics.
Yeah, it's
more
hard.
Than electronics.
Oh, got it. It's difficult to do electronics. Sorry, it's difficult to do electronics without knowing any programming at all, because like it's like that's you work on the hardware, but the real like blood and guts of electronics is the programming.
Yes, that's right.
I wanted to ask.
Interesting. So it's mostly the hardware. Or sorry. Okay. So is it correct to say you mostly work with hardware then, Jose?
Yes, I do more hardware, but as you know, I also have to program microcontrollers, some computers to interface with this hardware.
Right. Out of my curiosity then, as somebody who's more interested in hardware, because I think, I also like hardware, I think a little bit more. than programming. But what would you say is your favorite like programming language to use, or when you have to do programming, how do you normally go about it?
I like C++.
C++?
I like Python a little bit, but
Okay.
yes, C in general, I do most of the time.
Yeah, C seems like it's the base of everything, right?
Yes.
Everything's built off of C.
Sometimes I also program in assembly, but it's not that
Oh
often.
wow.
I
Yeah,
hate
assembly seems
programming in
hard. I've never
assembly.
never even looked into trying assembly.
I don't ever want to program in assembly. It just seems like so much to program in that language.
Gavin, I saw your face there and you looked
I don't like assembly
despondent
coding.
for a second.
I prefer C also. C is probably my favorite language, and it's what I have the most experience with. I wanted to ask how you got started working with Dynamixels and our hardware specifically, because it's kind of, we don't really advertise that much. So I was interested to hear
Yes.
how you came into contact with it.
Yes, I found these motors in my local store of electronics, and I saw, wow, a servo motor with intelligent communication. It was pretty
Oh,
expensive
wow.
at the time because I was studying. So I bought two motors and started programming. And then I really loved it because they had much data to work with. Yes,
Right. All the data and the feedback, right,
yes,
through the serial bus. Yeah, that I think is, the biggest strength that they have. So I'm really
yes.
glad to hear that you were able to find them. So you found them on the shelf in a store?
Yes, in a local store,
Wow.
electronics
Wow.
store, but local.
That's really cool. I don't think I'd be hard pressed to know where to buy a normal servo in a store in the United States.
Yeah, I
Here
think
we
it
have
just
a lot of electronic stores very near to the college, for
Got
example.
it.
that makes sense. That's probably the best place for it to be, huh? If it's
Yes.
gonna be anywhere.
I was wondering, I noticed that the electronics that you make for Dynamixels come out every once in a while, and like you said, you work majoritively with electronics for your job. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what other projects you've worked on?
Well, for example, I love the screens, working with TFTs, OLEDs, um,
Oh, okay.
LED matrix, making interfaces with the computer. Well, really a lot of hardware, but I don't really publish all my developments.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like a lot of the stuff that we talk about here, like development for hardware, a lot of the time what will happen is that we say, oh, we really want to make hardware for this to interface our Dynamixes with this specific thing. And the Raspberry Pi Zero, we were both like, oh, well, this guy's already done it. And it's been like it's been really cool to see that like the community making hardware, which is one of the main reasons that I wanted to reach out and talk to you. Um,
Sure.
but
I started with the servos, but just programming the for the
Oh
Arduino.
wow.
I made a library for Arduino. I
mhm.
haven't made the hardware really in that time when uh, when I first got my first Dynamitsu. But in time, a lot of people ask me, "Do you have the circuit on sale? Can you show me how to make that circuit?" So about a year ago, I decided, why not? I will make this PCB board and I will sell them. And yes, that's how I'm now on the internet. I'm
Wow.
really not, don't even started with the hardware.
Yeah, that's cool. I think we tell people all the time that it doesn't actually take that much to have communication happen between like a microcontroller and a Dynamixel. It just requires like one chip in between the Dynamixel and the Arduino. But a lot of people have a lot of issues, I guess, understanding or like comprehending that it's not something that's impossible to do. You just have to read up on our wiring diagrams or our schematics, and then people themselves can do it. But it's really cool that people in your area had a need that they came to you and asked you about, and you fulfilled it.
Okay, so it
Well,
was
no, not really in Mexico. These questions came from all over the world. Really, here in Mexico, there's not that much
Oh, got it.
interest in these motors. But I have found that all over the world, there are many people interested in this circuit. And as you said, it's pretty simple to wire this single circuit, but not everyone wants to do it. That's
Well, all right. I wanted to ask how like you were working with
so
Dynamixels
wow.
since college, you said you picked them up. Have you made any
yes,
like
about 10 years ago.
have you made any like cool projects that you would like to talk about?
Well, as I said, I only had two motors.
Oh, got it.
I just bought
Oh
two
wow.
motors at that time,
No,
about
that
10 years ago, and that's all. That's all.
I was gonna say just
Cool.
something that's maybe in the future
I saw from
to
your
be on the
go ahead,
lookout
Andrew.
for might be the Dynamixel XL430, which it's like the AX12A, but it's now a new upgraded version basically. So it has where AX12A has 300 degrees control. XL430 lets you do the 360-degree control for the same price.
I mean, if you wanted to make like content using Dynamixels, you could also just reach out to us here at Robotis and be like, hey, this is a cool thing that I would like to make. And as long as you document it,
Right.
I'm sure we could help supply you with any hardware that you would want or need. Like I think that's a big thing that we do here is like whenever anybody has like a project that they want to do, as long as they are saying like, oh, well, we'll document it and we'll talk about it. Our office seems to be pretty willing to help them out.
So yeah, I mean, I can just share a little bit of information about that. It would basically be kind of fall under what we call our power user program. So that's something I think we can maybe even when we release this video, maybe we can share some information in the in the comments section for. And Jose, I'll also send you some more information about that too, to see if maybe we can support some of your ongoing projects too, because I think that would be a great opportunity.
Sure. Just let me show you. I have my motors here. So,
Oh,
for
nice.
example,
Oh, awesome.
I don't have the 12A. I have the 12
AX12 Plus.
Yes, that's
okay.
It's pretty old.
Yeah, the 12A and the 12 Plus are very closely related, so
yes.
I think it's basically the same thing. The only thing the 12A did was change the shape on the
mounting
the mounting pieces on the edge there, but it's all still compatible and it's all still perfectly great, and that's really cool to see it hooked up to the board too.
I love your board for the Raspberry Pi Zero. It's such a good looking addition.
Yeah, like it looks like a single piece. I could barely tell because there's a Raspberry Pi Zero under it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks all like one thing. Nice.
Yeah, I remember when I think our head office was talking about making a board for the Raspberry Pi Zero W, and they were talking about how long the development time would be to like write libraries and get everything up and running. So I started looking online because we have an active user base, and I saw your board, and I was really impressed at how much you had worked on it and how much you had done.
Well, this is a pretty easy board. It took me a while because I was asking some users, some customers, about what they wanted in this board. So they told me we want I2C interface, we want a notification LED, some buttons. So that's really most of the job of this board. The board really took me around 3 days to design it.
Nice. Wow. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
That is very impressive.
Did you have any issues developing like the software to run on the Arduino on the Raspberry Pi to make an interface with the Dynamixel? I really don't know how that particular aspect works. Maybe Andrew would know a little bit better than me.
I was curious, did you have a chance to use any of our Dynamixel SDK or anything like that?
I haven't used it. I have used just a custom script in Python.
Okay.
Which only have the hardcore data, no? Really
wow.
Just to move the motor or to read instructions.
Wow.
So I'm blown away. That's a lot of work.
That's really impressive.
So let me show you. Here's an example. So if I press one button, the motor should move. With the central button, the motor will read the temperature, the voltage, and the position.
Interesting.
Let me start the program. Okay, I think it's running. So the motor moves. And
nice.
It says no errors.
Nice.
I can move it to other position. And again, no errors. I can read the status, as I said, voltage, 11.1 volts, the temperature, 38 degrees, and the position, 205. And on the other side, as the same, you can have the new position.
Those buttons are programmable, I imagine,
yes.
Via the code.
Nice.
I think a lot of what we're asked to do when people are interfacing with our product is to have something that records different positions using buttons. Mm-hmm. So like, you move your Dynamixel to a specific position and then press a button and it saves that position. And then if you move out of it or to a different position and press it again, it saves the difference between those two. And I could see that being something that you could do easily with just 3 buttons on your board.
Yes.
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. I'm extremely impressed. Have you tested the I2C connection?
Yes, that's the program there. It's to test the board.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
It has the necessary to run the LEDs, the buttons, the dynamixel. So that's
okay,
really, I made that program to test the board before shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And just for my reference and to kind of restate for anybody who was watching and maybe didn't notice, but so with your example program, basically you can use your example, that was Python, correct? You can just run the Python program directly from the Raspberry Pi to control the Dynamixel. Right. See if we can share that screen. Python. Okay, great. And yeah,
wow.
that's really cool to see because, we have a lot of interest in people controlling Dynamixels directly from the Raspberry Pi, and especially with the Raspberry Pi Zero. It's such a small, good option if you want to make a very small mobile robot.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, the platform could even be expanded to do ROS because if it's a Raspberry Pi Zero W, it has the integrated Wi-Fi inside of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm blown away.
So I was kind of curious, and hopefully this isn't going too far ahead of any of your questions, Gavin. But what would you think, Jose, in your opinion, what would you say are the most interesting or the most promising kind of new boards or new kind of technology that's come out that you want to take a look at, where do you think that people interested in robotics are going to be looking in the future?
Regarding boards,
Yeah, if there are any interesting new boards or, new Arduino or new Raspberry Pi or other boards like those,
sure.
or new technology that, in a different way.
Well, I have heard from some people that they also are interested in having the Raspberry Pi 4,
Oh, okay, yeah.
the B model with this kind of interface because they need, let's say, um, to put a webcam to recognize some objects or even faces and interact with the motors.
Okay, so you like the larger Raspberry Pis.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, the 4B we get a lot of questions about, so that's something I hope we can offer a lot more resources for in the future, and I think with new versions of ROS will come out to support it too.
Man, I'm just blown away at how cool the the board you made is and how well it works. It's pretty incredible. I was hoping to ask you. You talked about a bunch of people coming and asking you for like developments on boards. Like, how did you get started in like a larger community around Dynamixels? Because I think that's something that we've had a lot of issues either finding or creating. Like people who come forward and say like, this is what we'd want from Robotis, or we'd want as a thing.
Well, it is not that big, but I receive, let's say, four messages, four emails describing, "Hi, I need help with your code. I need help with the hardware. Would you have this circuit? Are you planning on make it for the Raspberry 4?" So there's a little bit of interaction, but not that much. As I say, maybe around 2, 3 emails to five at most in a month, for example.
Got it.
It's something that we've even talked about here, where even though you might only get a couple emails or messages directly asking for something, there could be a lot more people who have wondered or asked the same thing or thought the same thing or had the same question themselves, but if they don't know where to go or who to contact or where to turn, they maybe they just don't continue. So I think we like to say that every time somebody contacts us, that's at least maybe 10 people who've had the same thing, and it's kind of every inquiry represents more than just one person is what I like to think.
Yes.
So it's really great to hear you're able to meet that need, and I think that your Shield boards are a fantastic addition for the Raspberry Pi Zero, and hopefully we can see some more too in the future.
Yes, I have planned. I have been planning some other works.
Okay.
I want to make some kind of configurator for the motors, some kind of standalone interface.
Very cool.
Like an HMI.
For example, here I have a board with a touch screen and some buttons.
Nice.
So in the future, I'm planning to make a configurator for the motors in order to reset them, to put it in a different baud rate, or anything really, just to easily test the motors.
Related to that, you might be interested in. I'm not sure if you've seen some of our newest software, but Robotis makes some free software for Dynamixels, of course. We do have a new free software called Dynamixel Wizard 2.0, and so now we've finally expanded support for that for Linux. But the one thing is it doesn't yet run on ARM processors for Linux. But Dynamixel Wizard 2.0 might actually be something that could be very useful if you're looking to have a very similar application. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at it.
Yeah, I think that that's pretty much all the questions that I had planned for you. I learned a lot more about like what specifically you were doing and working on. And I actually got to see your Raspberry Pi Zero W in action, which I had been dying to do. I was thinking about buying one of your boards myself to play around with it, which it's very cool. I Programming Dynamixels in Python is something that a lot of people ask about and something I'm specifically interested in learning more about. So it was just cool to see an example of that.
Absolutely.
Would you like to plug anything or like let anybody who might be watching know anything about you? I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to your website in the description. That way people can get into contact with you. But is there anything that you would like to say?
Well, there's the website. I'm also planning to release a video of how to use the Raspberry Pi hat.
Oh,
I was
great.
planning to make some movements with the more and um, read the positions and record it to the Raspberry so that you can replay the the movements with these buttons.
Very
So
nice.
that's one video that I will release pretty soon, about maybe 2 weeks from now. So that can be found in my YouTube channel. I have some other videos about microcontrollers, about well the little things that I do. I have my Tindy store with all of these products. So yes, can,
Yeah, I'll be sure to link everything down below, and I'd be extremely interested in seeing the video on the Raspberry Pi hat programming.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's been. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us. For anybody watching, if they have any videos or people that they would like to highlight in the robotics industry, please leave a comment below. Like and subscribe; it really helps us out. And you can follow us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under ROBOTIS America.